I want to take a second here and just look to see if there are any questions in the chat. So I've got a question. This is came in anonymously. It says, my friends are tired of hearing me talk about racism, but they're not doing anything about it. What advice do you have, and how should I address this topic, or should I just drop it?
Wow, we're starting with the heavy hitters, right? Well, you know what? I get it. I'm tired as well. And I wish there wasn't a need for us to discuss it. But we know that isn't reality, right? And so I would encourage you to continue to press ahead and have those conversations, because we all have a role to play in ending racism. And it starts with having that conversation, and some ways to start that conversation. We've all heard is, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? So have you ever considered, this perspective? Can I offer you a different perspective? Are you opening to listening to my experience? Are you open to listening to what I've learned? Let me share what I've learned. Ultimately, we may not be able to change a person's opinion, but I'm hopeful that if we continue to have these discussions, that it will eventually move us closer to some type of shared understanding. Maybe we will help to open people's minds a bit more. Maybe they will become a bit more empathetic, once they hear about your lived experience. And we all just have to keep in mind, just because it isn't our lived experience doesn't mean that it invalidates another person's experience.
Yeah, no, I think that's great information. We've got another question here from Janice. It said, how do I start the conversation with my employer if they don't have a formal committee or a role to address diversity and inclusion?
So, great question. I would I would have a conversation and say, hey, this is extremely important right now. Other employers are starting to give more thought to formal diversity and inclusion programs. Here are the benefits of doing that. There's a business case for it, and there's tons of information out there that speaks to why diverse and inclusive environments work better. If your employer wants the business case, you can go that route. But there's also, it's just the right thing to do. And the employees are demanding it, the customers are demanding it, clients are demanding it. And if you have the support of other employees within your organization, I'm sure they'll start to listen. You can even start with employee resource groups.